Nelly, um, can you bring me my Black Panther hat?
Sure.
Thank you.
So, what you working on?
I'm trying to do this like Black Panther retrospective video thing, and I'm trying to come up with the intro. And I wanted to use music, but I don't want to use music from the trailers because I don't think Vince Staples or Run the Jewels is going to sound right. I need something that like fits.
Yeah. You need something a little bit more dramatic. Better. Or bigger. Okay.
And speaking of picking sides, oh, Black Panther himself, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chadwick Boseman.
I am an artist. People call me an actor. I wouldn't necessarily call myself an actor. I would call myself an artist. What was your reaction when they told you that Black Panther's role was yours? About a minute-long celebration, yelling, praising God, just screaming like I was watched a buzzer beater.
It's unbelievable. Next door, actually, they had a big event and they announced that you got the part. People started going crazy. Like,
Chinese
how
theater.
far in advance was that?
It was almost a year.
Almost a year beforehand.
Yeah.
But the fans know, and of course, they start treating you as Black Panther right off the bat.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, some of the fanboys, fangirls, they somehow some of them have some prophetic powers. There's this one guy in Australia. I was filming in Australia, and I was on set, and this guy was doing security. His name is Charles Carter. He has, them put his first issue of Black Panther, an original 1977
The comic
issue,
book itself.
the first Black Panther comic book, in my trailer, and writes a note. It says, "I believe you're gonna be Black Panther."
Oh my God.
And there was no signs that Marvel was even gonna do a Black Panther movie or even bring the character into the universe. And I was like, okay, sort of put it out of my head, and then it just sort of became this thing that built in my head that maybe this could happen. Started researching the character more. My agent called me. And the weird thing about the call is that I didn't even have an international plan on my phone until that day. That day I woke up and something said, yes, God said, you need international on your phone. You never know who might call. My agent called me when I was on the red carpet. Said, Marvel wants to talk to you. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah. I said, I'm on the red carpet. He was like, well, you get off the red carpet. So I did the red carpet. I got off and got in the car and drove around because it was a secret conversation. And they basically were like, hey, we heard there's this character that you're interested in.
Wow.
And heard from who? And they were like, if it's the character we think you're interested in, would you be interested in playing it? And I said, If it's the character I think you're talking about, yes. And I didn't know whether they were talking about Popeye the Sailor Man, but I was like, yeah, anything you do, I'm good with.
Maybe the security guy told him.
But maybe he put the other strange thing about that, that premonition of prophecy, is that when they called me, I was in Zurich, and I had to actually get off the red carpet, get in the car and ride around, because Marvel is really secret about everything. Ride around in the car, have this private conversation with them, and the driver stops in front of this antique shop, and in the front window there was all these panthers in the window.
Wow.
I'm looking literally.
You might be a real superhero.
I might be. Yeah.
How do you decide on the accent?
Well, what I did for this particular role is, you know how comedians, how you guys will, you do a small comedy club before you do the big show.
Right.
I did an independent film called Message from the King, and I played South African, was coming to LA, sort of fish out of water story. So I used that as my small comedy club performance to find my dialect coach, to sort of find my base for an authentic African dialect. Although it's pulled from South African Xhosa, it's Wakanda. And our idea is that if Wakanda is what we say it is, we can pull from any place in Africa that we want to. If Wakanda is supposed to be the most technologically advanced nation on the planet, if it's supposed to have never been conquered, which means that advancement has happened without colonialism tainting it, then that would mean there's nowhere in the world he would speak with a European accent. If I did keep something from the set, I wouldn't tell you. Look at it and said, let me find as much material as I could possibly find. And when you go through, like, there are various writers, and you see just the possibilities that are there along with what they provided, just that he's a king, he's a monarch, and at the same time he's a superhero, but he's not quite a superhero, that he has this quality of being very strategic. You never know quite what he's going to do next, so he's always a step ahead of everyone. So there's a certain mystery about the character.
He is regal, there's that aspect to his story where we see kind of that regal culture and nature in Wakanda and how he has to deal with that kind of responsibility, being the leader of these people.
Well, the funny thing is that I think it's one of the most unique things about the character is that he comes from a heritage. He knows who he is. He has an ancestry that he's tapping into, because he's not the only Panther. He's not the only. There have been Black Panthers before him, kings before him, chieftains before him. So he's connected to a spiritual tradition that is also its technology. And I think, all of that is connected to the regalness of him as king. I wanted to be true to the comic book character, because as true as possible, because, it's a character that people have been waiting on. But that said, there are some things that are unspoken that I try to bring to the table that are pulling from, whether it be tribal history or tribalism or, African civilization. There are things that I'm always doing that are not even on the page. Walk around saying, hey, I could play this guy, I could play that guy, I could do this type of movie, that type of movie, this type of story. So Black Panther was on my radar as a dream, as something like that would be cool to do, and I'm a fan of it, but not like, where it would sort of take over your consciousness. What kind of music would you recommend to child to listen to? Definitely Kendrick Lamar, King Kunta, some Fela, definitely some James Brown, some classical music, some Adele, or some Isaac Hayes, Jazz, Miles Davis. Shout out Don Cheadle.